of Mubarak's podcast. Today we have an incredible guest, Sol Ghobad. Hey Sol, welcome to Mubarak's podcast.
Hello, Hashmat. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
It's great honor to have this conversation with you. To be honest, I've prepared a brief introduction, but I would like to hear from yourself, from your own words, that who is Sol Ghobad?
Well, as a person, I am just a soul experiencing a spiritual life in this physical body. This is this is the best description I can tell. But if you would like to know my other hobbies and other things that I do in my life, I am a writer. I write a lot. I am
Mhm.
author of two different books. So I wrote the book The Game of Pickable, A Metaphor for Life, and another book is Psychedelic Hopscotch. I am also a psychedelic assisted therapist. I am yoga and meditation and
Mhm.
breathwork practitioner. So I do a lot of different things. So you'll get to know me better
Yeah.
during the podcast.
Thank you once again for joining us. Let me start from here that I've always found it so fascinating that when someone says they feel like they come here for a bigger reason, especially women's, like they are not from this planet or this time. You describe yourself as a star seed from Andromeda. And honestly, even though that might sound wild to someone, to some people, I think there is something really beautiful about it because at the end of the day we all want to believe that we are here for a purpose, a bigger purpose, that we are not just flying through life without meaning, uh, especially in hard places like Afghanistan where people feel stuck or forgotten. That kind of message can be so powerful in my perspective, and it can give people a reason to hope, to keep going, and to believe that there is more beyond the pain. And you so seem to carry that belief deeply. Specifically, I would like to ask that what drove you to claim this identity, and how does feeling cosmic influence your work and life, especially when your students come from a fragile places like Afghanistan?
Thank you very much for this great question. I love it. I love it when someone asks these deep questions because some people can just hear something. I just go and tell them, I know that I am a star seed, and they just say, "Oh, okay," and they move on. But some people stop and think and start to ask some questions, and I love it. So thank you. Well, to be honest with you, I just realized the fact that I am a star seed as like a clear understanding not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Thank to one of my greatest teachers who I just got to know her through a very mystical path. And when I came across the fact that, oh, okay, all of the things that my teacher is telling about starseed, I have that, and I already know it in my heart that I have that seed of the soul. So let's just tell you a little bit of brief. What does it mean when someone
Mm-hmm.
says that I know that I am a starseed? So we know that we have a soul, or if some people like to call it a cosmic energy.
Mm-hmm.
It is that part of us which is beyond this physical body and the mind. And we know that we have that. That's the conscious part of us. That's the soul. That's actually the main thing, right? That soul has a seed, like a tree that we plant in the soil has a seed.
Mm-hmm.
That soul has a seed. And there are different types of seeds. Not everyone is a star seed. Most of the, so there are souls on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
and also a little bit of non-ordinary information. Some of these bodies that we see on the earth, they do not have a soul, or
Mm-hmm.
their soul is deactivated or stolen. So believe it or not, maybe next to you tomorrow in the train station, in the bus stop, in the shop, there are some beings around you that their spirit, their soul is deactivated or stolen. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
don't take these confused. All right, so we are talking about the beings with a soul, and that soul has different seeds in it. So let's talk about the star seeds and the earth seeds.
Hmm.
So that we just talk about these two types because there are a lot more, and we don't want to go down there. So the star seeds are only limited seeds who came to the earth for helping planet Earth
Hmm.
and the residents of the planet Earth. But the trick is that they are not in the political or governmental or huge organizational roles of these planets. So there are sometimes people who are just spiritual teachers or school teachers. They are very quiet, down to the earth. You never get to know them as a very big celebrity or a very important politician. No, never. The starseed doesn't have any work in related to the
Hmm.
governments or
Hmm.
so their mission is totally spiritual here.
But
I hope that I
yeah.
have a lot to share, but I don't want to share overshare.
Yeah.
So you feel free to ask.
Thank you once again for sharing that. But a lot of people think that psychology as a science and spirituality as a belief, and they think that these things or these two things can mix together. But I've seen so many people that, including you, being both together, bring both together in a way that just makes sense. You work with mind and soul. You talk about dreams, energy, and about psychology, the consciousness, and shadow work. And honestly, in countries like Afghanistan, where modern therapy is still new for these people, and people often turn, to religious leaders in a state, the combination can feel strange and sometimes maybe risky, but maybe that's where real change happens. When science-based therapy and spiritual practices seem to tell a different story, how do you decide which path to lean into? Your logical mind or your intuitive heart?
Okay, before answering to your question, I just want to clarify something that the term psychology is made of two parts, psyche and logy,
Mhm.
right? The psyche means spirit. Logi is the part which means to study. So at the very first point in time, when they came up with the name psychology for this field, they actually meant that we are going to study the spirit.
Mhm.
Okay, so it is psychology is not a science. It is wrong belief. It is a mistake, and there are always things about psychology that they are not going to be scientifically proven because science always catching up with the realm of the spirit and spirituality, and I just leave it up to the audience and
Mhm.
all the other people to accept it or not or believe in it or not. But honestly, the spirituality and the consciousness and the quantum physics is always many miles ahead of the science, and so science very slowly is catching up, and it's okay, right? And now the question that did I choose the path by my heart or by my brain? Obviously the short answer, my heart, and it took me a long time to learn that all I know is in my heart, and the only place that I should go and I trust is my heart.
Mhm.
So after I studied civil engineering at university, then I got a master's degree in hydraulic structures, then I studied another master's degrees in environmental science, and I worked for 20 years as a planner, as an engineer, as a policymaker, and I was not happy. I ended up with a rare type of disease or cancer. I was under depression, anxiety, stress, didn't have a happy family life. I had a
Mhm.
horrible marriage, got divorced. Everything was going in a not a really good shape till
I
I
understand.
started to yeah, I started to heal myself. I started to come back home to my heart. And that was the point that I realized that my mission is something unique to me, and I started the path of arts in psychology. I was doing yoga, meditation. I became a yoga practitioner and a lot of things. So
Yeah.
that's the
Oh,
long version of the answer.
a cool journey. There is a lot, to be honest, to learn from your journey. But coming to Afghanistan, there is something really painful happening inside Afghanistan. And I'm sure you know that. Afghan women right now, being banned from schools, work, public spaces. And we know that kind of injustice doesn't just hurt physically, but it hurts mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And spiritually, but depression, fear, and anxiety are growing among Afghan people. But I also believe that the women carry an inner fire that can be put out, even when the world tries to silence them. I know you have spoken about women's leadership. I imagine that you have supported many women through healing journeys. In times like this, like Afghanistan, your advices, becomes even more powerful. And there's a lot to learn from your journey and your advice. But when working with Afghan women in crisis, not only Afghan women in crisis, maybe other women in crisis, what specific spiritual principles or tools do you turn to that help them rebuild confidence and hope?
Yes, I wouldn't say I'm very well aware of what is happening in Afghanistan because I've never been there or I've never experienced that closely. But as an Iranian woman who spent 30 years of my life in Iran with a dictatorship government, I can understand how it feels when it comes to these points that the women are being ignored and they're banned from education or the society. I
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah.
And all I can say is that this is not going to last. This is just a temporary phase, and it will pass because it is wrong because it is based on fear and based on their urge for power. The government,
Mhm,
whoever is in sitting on the place of power, they
mhm.
are only doing that because they are hungry and thirsty for power. And the only reason that they are doing it is they want to ignore and delete the power of half of the society who are the females, and because they're scared. They are scared of the power of the females because who are the women? Women are the mother of these next generations, and
Yes.
they are going to bring up very brave and powerful children. So what I'm saying, stay hopeful. Always go back to your heart. And even though it is difficult not to go to school, not to go to university, and being ignored and deleted from the whole society, you can always come back to home and keep
Mhm.
doing what you are doing.
Yeah.
Read books. And I don't know if there is no internet, just ask for people who has access to internet. Go for audiobooks, copy it on little USB flash. We are living in the area in the time of smartphones and
Mhm.
computers.
I didn't really know that you're originally from Iran. Thank you for sharing that. But I've read that the poetry plays a huge role in your life too, and it really touched me also that I used to write poems in Persian language maybe 2 to 3 years ago. But in Afghanistan, poetry looks like oxygen. If you see the history, and now, even during the Taliban rule, people wrote and shared poems in secret. Girls, have turned to poetry to express what they're not allowed to say out loud about freedom, loss, love, and pain. Today many women and girls are silenced again, sadly, but their words are still burning inside them. As I yourself, I wonder how you see the power of poetry during times of political and emotional darkness. Specifically, I would like to ask this: that how can poetry help Afghan girls and women reclaim their voices and identity when they are being silenced?
I think poetry is a very powerful and very deep um, tool. It's a tool. It's a technique because with poetry they can say what they cannot actually say.
Yeah,
Like
I
when when
completely
when
understand it.
when So it is helping them in expressing themselves in a very healthy way. Because if someone goes out and say, "Hey, government of Afghanistan, you are bad people, you are dictators, and you are wrong," well, obviously, what is that person gonna end up in the jail, or they're going to kill that person. But when they speak it out in a language of poetry, it is going to be like, oh, what does that mean? And to be honest with you, these politicians are not that smart to understand poetry. So
Yes,
most
if
of
we
the time,
see, sorry for interruption, if we see the Persian history, famous poets of us like Ferdowsi, Hafiz, they criticize the politics, they criticize the kings through their poems.
that's very true. That's very true. Even I would say they criticize the extremist religious leaders because what Hafez said, what Ferdowsi said, they believed in the existence of the unity of the one and only power of the divine. They were not advertising or marketing for different branches of different religions or forcing anyone to
Mhm.
come to follow them. They were like, there is one and only, that's the only power, the divine, and you connect to it through your heart, and that's it. Nothing complicated, and there was never money or power involved.
Mhm.
Where when it comes to religious beliefs, when somebody comes in and say, my religion is the last one and is the best one, and everybody has to follow that, and you have to listen to me without even thinking, no way. This is not what God wants.
Mhm.
It's not like that. So
Yeah, coming to emotions and mental health, in Afghan communities, there is still a deep fear around talking about emotions or mental health. Many people, especially men, are taught to stay silent, act strong, and never admit when they're hurting. But we know silence only makes the pain heavier and heavier, as I have,
mhm.
experienced it. And now, after years of war and the return of Taliban, mental wounds are growing much faster, and people are afraid to be, vulnerable. As someone who works, in deep emotional healing, your voices in here is very important there. So that, what are some general ways you think that Afghan communities, especially families, can begin opening up emotionally without fear or shame?
I understand that this is a very challenging part with societies like Afghanistan and Iran as well, because we have the same problem, and it's rooted in the culture, since many years ago they said, oh, boys don't cry, or like suppressing emotions are a, a, very normal. They
Mhm.
want to separate childs, especially boys, from their emotions, which is wrong. And I think one of the important and main things that people like yourself can do is to bringing awareness. Bring awareness. Go to different communities in your family, with your friends. Talk about emotions. Talk about emotional intelligence. Talk about everything about the fact that we are born naturally with these emotions.
Mhm.
This is how the nature, this is how the God created us.
Mhm.
This is why God created human, because God wants us to feel the emotions, and the emotions are the compass. It is
Mhm.
the emotions showing us the map. If we don't understand when we are scared, then how can we create our boundaries? If we don't
Mhm.
understand when we are angry, how can we defend our home and family? So the people in the power, they don't want us with emotions, because if we have emotions, then we are going to do anything to get our freedom.
To be honest, what we have learned from our community and from our society, sadly, just to survive, not to live, there is something very deep in this, that we have just learned to survive, not to live. This is something very painful for me, and it bothers me a lot. By the way, but right now, people in Afghanistan are emotionally exhausted. Women can't go work, as I have said before. Girls can't go to school. Families are struggling to eat, and many feel completely helpless and hopeless. I know you talk a lot about, burnout and how to spark transformation even in the darkest times. But when a whole society is hurting, this is something very painful. But what would you say to young people in Afghanistan who feel like they have lost everything, especially girls and boys who feel stuck and here and important?
Well, if you know, when you say they have lost anything and everything, there is always something that is left, and nobody can take it from you. And that's that light in the heart. That's the light in your heart, in everyone's heart. And down deep there, you always know that this is not going to be like this forever. And even this is just a facade. This is just the top face of it. But down deep there, it is not like that. All I can tell is that focus on your breath and come bring your back to the present moment. This is very challenging for societies that are living in stress all the time, and there are different challenges with
Hmm.
the families outside, inside. But believe me, practice that, stay in the present moment, and then your frequency is going to change. Then when your frequency is changing, you have impact on the people in your very close surrounding, your friends, your family, and then their frequency is going to change. And this is like a ripple effect. It is going to move on, and like ripples of the water when you throw a stone in the water, it
Hmm.
is contagious. When your frequency changes, to come and live in the moment and enjoy whatever you have and be grateful whatever you have. Do you have just a mother in the family? Do you have just a father? Do you have health? Do you have whatever? We are here. We can see, we can speak. There, even somebody is sick, we just say, thank you, God. Thank you for all of the things that you have given me and you are giving me. Being grateful helps us to live in the present moment. And when I say God, it's not that God in the Quran or in the Bible. It's not that. It's
Yeah,
your God. It's
I
your
understand.
heart.
I understand it. I understand it. Thank you once again, dear Soul, for this beautiful conversation, and thank you for your time and your passions. And it's for me a great honor to have this conversation with you. And if there is anything that I have missed, and if there is any message that you have for your sisters and mothers inside Afghanistan, inside Iran, mic is yours. You can tell them.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here with you. I just want to tell my sisters in Afghanistan that I'm very proud of you. I love you all. I'm sending you a lot of love. Keep that light coming out of your heart. You're just shining. And I can feel that energy, and I